sorry, my daughter started to wake up there with the bumps. It's 11 o'clock, 10:58, heading home from the hospital, and she's tired and sleeping, and she just woke up, so I wanted to let her know that everything was okay. It's amazing how kids wake up and they don't know where they are, and they're scared by it and whatever, which is, don't want to have that. So, she woke up again. The other really cool thing is triple overdrive. Overdrive is good. 4-speeds generally had overdrive unless they were an old Borg Warner in a pickup truck or something like that. They had overdrive. Or an SM465. Right? SM465? 1-to-1? Yeah, I think so. Whatever. It's late. It's 11 o'clock. Don't quote me. I don't care. It's so cool having triple overdrive because it's like, one is just enough to be overdrive with a lot of weight. As in 8th gear's first overdrive. 9th is just enough up overdrive for double overdrive when you're towing. And you got to be over about 62, 63 mile an hour to even use it. And then 10th when you're empty is like, oh heck yeah, we got overdrive, baby. So we're doing 54 and we're doing about 1,250 RPMs if I had to make you a bet. That's pretty cool. And the fact that this truck has the personality to then be able to floor it and, shove it right back up to, 5,000 RPM in the downshift or 45 or whatever, it's honestly kind of cool. So in short, if you're on the fence about buying a 10-speed, they're super duper strong. They do not have any bands or drums. They are all planetary gear sets. So you just have clutches that are opening and closing, clutch packs that are opening and closing to either lock up or allow the planetary to spin, and then you have the outer ring on the outside that also locks and unlocks. So that's how they generate 10 gears from 4 planetaries. Super duper cool. It is extremely strong. There's a reason why factory 10 speeds are record holders. They're very, very, very strong. Though in most cases that I found, they're locking out. Like they're launching in like 4th gear. Those record holding cards, they're launching in like 4th gear to do that. Sorry, the bump's right there. So it's a little bit different of a situation. They're locking out those lower gears so they're not wasting their time because it's too much torque amplification, too much time wasted shift to shift. If you're running, 8s or 9s in a Mustang, you don't want to waste 150 milliseconds or 200 milliseconds shifting a gear. You might be able to get it down a little bit below 150, but let's just say you did. Still, you're wasting a bunch of time that's going to go toward your time. So, anyway, from a daily driving perspective, it's honestly really cool. From someone who has always been a manual trans guy, and also from someone who really did kind of hate a little bit on the 10 speeds, because I didn't like them from the performance perspective, because honestly, when you're using all 10 gears, you're wasting a little bit of time in all those shifts. And with this engine specifically, the 5 liter is probably going to benefit from the 10-speed a lot more than this will in terms of performance. But this engine makes a very flat torque curve from like 2,200 to like 4,500. There's no reason to only go up 500 to 800 RPM per shift when you're going full throttle and you're accelerating. There's no reason to not pull 2,500 RPM on one shift. And that's one of the things that would irk me about it. And with the diesel, that was also, if with the diesel, you should be able to pull maybe 1,500 to about 3,000 RPM per shift. And because the 6.7 has a flat torque curve, it's going to do extremely well doing it like that. So that was my gripe about it. But when you look at it from the other way, you get all those gears to accelerate with very little throttle. I mean, this truck will do, 0 to 60 at like 8th throttle and shift at 1,500 RPM. It's wild. And it's crazy that you're not in obstruction to traffic while doing that. And then having the triple overdrive on the other end of it when you're cruising on the highway or like right now, I just laugh my butt off at 15 mile a gallon plus averages in a 1-ton pickup truck, 4-wheel drive, 4-door short bed on 35s. And I hand calculate to confirm this all the time. It's usually off about plus or minus 0.2. So it's right in that area, to the point where we don't need to argue about it. It's right about in that area of hand calculated fuel economy. Just awesome. So I really enjoy it. They definitely achieve the fuel economy with those triple overdrives versus the double overdrive that the 6R had, the outgoing 6R, which was a really good transmission. And people ask too, should I buy or should I avoid the 10-speed and go with an older truck? Hard no. The newer the vehicle, the more likely you're going to get more miles out of it before you need to have service, major service, debilitating downtime service. So I wouldn't recommend that you, let's just say you could buy 2 trucks and, you know, one was 50 grand, the other one was 56 grand to go 2 or 3 years newer. Because that's about the spread right now. The 17 and 19s are kind of acting like they're LBZ Duramaxes right now, which is crazy because they were great trucks when they were new. They were excellent trucks when they were new. But they're now 5+ years old, you know? That is a lot of time for someone to find a way to abuse them, or poor fuel get put in them, or something end up in the DEF tank that shouldn't be there. I already said abuse, but someone doing burnouts, towing heavy and abusing it while they're towing, like in 1,000 miles, even less than 1,000 miles, in 400 miles, you can entirely change the trajectory of the future of the truck in the use. If you have a bad week at work and you go out on a Friday night with your buddies and you beat the tar out of your truck, in honestly even 100 miles, you can totally change the trajectory of the future of the vehicle. And as you know, in a millisecond, you can also destroy your truck. So, you know, food for thought. I definitely wouldn't avoid buying. I would avoid first-year vehicles in the first place. I'd avoid 17. I'd avoid 20 for sure. With COVID trucks, I'd avoid 21, but it's, you know, that's an exception. It's a different situation. But definitely would avoid. And on the same token, I know people and I've spoke to people with 20s and 17s where they've had, you know, 250,000 miles of reliable use in the 17, and, you know, now they're in the high 150s with a 20, and they haven't had any electrical issues, they haven't had any transmission issues, they haven't had any engine issues. There are exceptions to the rule, and it really comes down to, that probably speaks a lot for the owner and their commitment to servicing the vehicle properly. Most of the truck's lifespan is really determined on how you maintain your vehicle. It matters so much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this quicker video. We're right at 6 minutes. Perfect. I'm going to do a good job and call this one right here. Thank you all for tuning in. If you have any questions, put them down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. And as I've said in other videos, I'm going to get to doing more hands-on stuff. We've had a lot of crazy things going on. April has not been my best month, despite it being my birthday month. It's been a little bit of a rough month. So crazy things have been going on. So I will try and get to some more shop action, some more towing action, some working with equipment action. I'm sorry for those of you who have subscribed and have been watching the channel because you also enjoy that stuff. I'm sorry that you've had to wait so long. It's been a crazy winter. I did try and have a little bit of recreation in the wintertime with snowmobiling, but then things kind of started derailing in March with work. Not derailing in a bad way. We were very busy with work, so I did a lot of working, which put behind a lot of, shop working. And then things started to derail a little bit in April with the ice storm, health stuff, weirdnesses, doctor's appointments, lots of weird stuff. So we're working on it. I promise we will get some towing and some equipment use videos here coming up. So stay tuned. Take care all. Have a great day. Be safe.